I ran into a random problem right here. As you all can see at my computer's monitor, my computer has been running for like something 5 to 10 minutes now, and it's still stuck right here. So now for the fix, what I will think is, my hard disks at which the main driver is installed, I think the connection got loosened, so that's why it's not booting up. So let's try it out. Okay, now so I think this SATA cable right here, as you all can see, I think this one is loosened. Let's reinstall it again. So yep, it's good. Alright, so I guess now that should fix the problem, or else guys I will need to reinstall the whole Windows 10 software, and that will take a long period of time. So let's plug in this power cable right here, and let's boot it up and let's hope for the best. Fingers crossed. Yep, it's booted. Alright guys, so as you all saw, my computer was technically frozen out, but I fixed it under 2 minutes. So why I just let my computer run is I just wanted to check whether that's the system fault or the hardware failure. In this today's video, we are gonna be talking about this Nikon L340 Coolpix camera. We are gonna be talking about that. So in my last video, I talked about it's my studio right here. This home studio, or the setup it's 99% completed. I only need to do one thing, and that's to paint that wall. And besides that, here as you all can see, I have done, I did it all by myself, this lining and all. Here as you all can see, I have this plug right here, this switch box, and it's working. So I did it all by myself. Now if you guys are wondering why did I wire up all ground, neutral and live wire at the same color, the reason is really simple guys. I ran out of other two color wires, so for that reason I need to use this same wire all over it. But guys, this is just temporary setup. What's up guys, welcome back to yet another video, and I'm really sorry about the late intro because I was busy talking about my computer stuff, and I hope that you guys learned something new by that. So in this latest video, we are going to be talking about this Nikon Coolpix L340 camera, which I have been using it for the past 5 years, and what are my experience with this camera, and do I like it or not. In this video, we are gonna be discussing about this topic right here on the screen. It's already there, you guys can check it out. And if you guys only want to watch the specific part, you guys can head over down to the description box below and click on there, and you guys will be directly teleported to that section of the video. Okay, so now talking about the pricing. Now at the point of time when I got this camera, it cost around 13,000 to 14,000 rupees. So at that time, me and my brother were looking for a camera which was close to a DSLR, but was not those small type of digital cameras which were present at the market at that time. And those digital cameras were really popular among the people, and most of them have that. So me and my brother wanted to have a bit different, and so we went for a SLR camera and we bought this. Now spoiler alert guys, now at that point of time when we purchased this camera, we had no idea about photography, videography. I also didn't knew like I was gonna be a cinematographer or filmmaker or photographer in the future, which is in just 5 years before. Alright, so now that was for the pricing. Now if you guys will head over to the website and look out for this camera. Now unfortunate enough, now it is totally discontinued in India, but it costs around below 10,000 rupees in 2020. So there's a link down in the description box below. You guys can head over there and check it out. Okay, so now let's talk about the looks of this camera. So the looks of this camera is really good. It's not a digital camera or a DSLR camera. It's between the two, just the tool mixture, the hybrid between the two. And at first glance, if you guys will look into this camera, you guys will, if you guys don't know about DSLR or this camera stuff, you guys will automatically think this is a DSLR camera, but it is not. It is an SLR camera. Now it has a small type of body. If we will compare this camera to a DSLR camera, now this camera is really small in size as compared to a DSLR camera. So now if you guys will hold it in your hand also, you guys will be able to reach those record button or the shutter button easily. And the camera itself is really compact and is featured with lots of features and stuff like that. Alright, so now let's talk about how does it feel on hand. So whenever you guys hold this camera, you guys mostly feel that this is a DSLR camera, as this has got huge lens popping out of its body, and that's the advantage of it. As this camera is really lightweight and portable, it's really it really feels good on hands. And the grip present on this camera is really not, and now I don't say the grip of this camera is perfect, it's good, but for this type of cheap cameras, I would like give it a go for this camera. And if you guys own this camera, it will be really easier for you to vlog on because of the lightweight advantage. So now at point number 5, let's talk about the zoom. Alright, so now talking about the zoom, now this camera has got 28x optical zoom. Now as you all can see in the screen, I can zoom in a lot. The interesting fact about this camera is whenever we full zoom it in, the lens fully pops out of the body, and in the landscape mode when we'll push the zoom button continuously, it has got digital zoom, which helps us to zoom in more and more to the picture or the video. So now talking about the zoom is really perfect. Alright, so what's on the back, right? So in the back panel, we have got 7.5 centimeters / 3-inch LCD screen. Now it's not a HD screen, it's just a normal LCD screen. As this camera just films on normal 720p, we don't need to have a HD output LCD screen at the back. And at the bottom of the screen, we have got the classic Nikon text. Alright guys, so now let's talk about the specs. So now the aperture which this camera has got is f3.1 to f5.9. Alright, so now moving on to the next, let's talk about the ISO. Now it has got the ISO from 80 to 1600. I know that it's not much, but like for this camera it's considerable. And usually I keep my ISO at auto because the lighting of the room may change, or the area, or wherever you guys are filming, and because of the ISO, if it's set at a particular point, the video or the photo which you guys are taking may have tons of noise in it. So just to avoid that, I just keep my ISO at auto. So now at last, let's talk about the battery. Okay, so now this is the feature which really surprised me the most. So now this one I have to really read it from the script. Here's how it goes. So if you guys will use this camera on lithium ion batteries, you guys will be surprised how long this camera will last with lithium ion batteries. So with the lithium ion battery, this camera will last for 5 hours and 40 minutes. Guys, can you imagine it? 5 hours and 40 minutes. And if this camera would have filmed in HD or 2K quality, this camera would really rock out. Sorry about the interruption during the middle of the video. So why am I right here actually is I just wanted to tell you guys about two things which I almost forgot while filming this video. Alright, so the thing which I forgot to talk about is the cons about this camera. So the cons about this camera is whenever I use this camera for longer exposure of time, like almost 28 minutes, camera starts to get foggy, and every video clip gets messed up. As you all were seeing that the video quality changed from better to worse, so that was caused by this camera, the problem of getting foggy. Alright, so that was the first problem. And now the second problem is related with photography. Now if I in this camera there is a feature, like I know that there is a feature called VR, vibration reduction. So that feature does not work on this camera because as this camera has grown old, and I guess that's the reason why it has stopped working. Whenever I like zoom in and I just want to have a blurred background photo like that, I cannot have a perfect a balanced picture. I always get a shaky photograph like that. So that's the two problems which I really face while using this camera. Other than that, there are not many problems right here present in this camera, and it's good to go. Okay, so now the next battery which it supports is the alkaline batteries. So with the alkaline batteries, it keeps around 2 hours 5 minutes, something like that. So now this battery, which I haven't really heard about it much, so the name of the battery or the model of the battery or whatever it is, so is ENMH2 batteries. So I really need to Google it now. I'll put up the image of the battery right here on the screen so that you guys can see what does the battery look like. So it gives 3 hours 40 minutes. Okay, so now talking about the battery life really varies from the users of the camera. So if you guys are using this camera for with the lithium-ion batteries for only photography, then this camera will last for 5 hours 40 minutes or so. But if you guys are using it for videography, now it won't last that much long. It will probably last for 3 hours 30 minutes or so. For this camera, the only final words which I would like to say, as I've already said in the beginning, like what's my point of view to this camera. So personally speaking, guys, my point of view towards this camera is it's really good for a beginner. So if you guys are a beginner and you guys want to have a zoom, and you guys also want to have a bigger battery life or long lasting battery life, and want to snapshot some good photos, this camera is really good. Now everything as I've already said depends upon your experience and how much your dedication towards your skills or work is. Stay tuned for the next video, because I think I'm gonna be talking about like how I edit my videos. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. Let's wrap up today's video right here with our slogan: be kind, be positive, peace.